Hello, welcome to the Career Mentoring and Professional Development Center Internship 101 workshop for spring 2020. In this workshop, we will go over how to look for an internship. This workshop is currently going to be recorded. A lot of our faculty members will be posting that in their course materials on D2L, as well as we are planning on posting this for everybody to be able to have access to at a later date. So if you have any questions during this presentation, feel free to type those in the chat. We are monitoring those and we'll be doing our best to answer any questions or concern you might have. So let's just get started. My name is Alex Ruby. I am the Director of Internships at the Career Mentoring and Professional Development Center. I am typically housed in Cub 108, which is on the floor right on top of the bookstore and PSACU in the Cub. Obviously, right now we have moved all of our operation remotely, so I can still be contacted at ajruby@ship.edu. If you are looking to make an appointment, just send me an email and we can schedule a one-on-one Zoom session that way. You can also call at 717-477-1595. And while I typically have office hours Mondays from 2 to 6 and Wednesday from 2 to 4, again, due to the fact that we have moved all of our operations online, we can just set up hours and meetings by appointment. And hosting here today with me is Noah Turner.
Hi, I'm Noah Turner. I'm a senior management major here at Shippensburg. I'm also interning in the Career Mentoring and Professional Development Center. And in addition to that, I am also the vice president of the Shippensburg Men's Club lacrosse team. So why do I need an internship? Here's a quick little video on why an internship may be beneficial for you.
If you're looking for a job, it can seem like everything requires 3 to 5 years of experience. In fact, experience can be the crucial factor in who gets hired and who doesn't. Employers love experience. But data also shows that post-secondary education is essential for higher lifetime earnings. So how can you get both? Education and experience? Internships. According to a 2012 study by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, 59% of businesses hired their paid interns as new full-time employees. This may be why 65% of 25 to 32-year-olds in the labor force said more work experience while in school would have helped them get the job they wanted. By cultivating the professional networks and skills you'll need to succeed, internships can really improve your employability regardless of what you're majoring in. In fact, a recent Auburn University study showed that interning in a career field could be even more important than majoring in that field when it comes to getting a job interview. And while unpaid internships were a big thing in the past, the U.S. Department of Labor now issues legal guidelines that encourage employers to pay interns for their work. In fact, both national and local data indicate that the overwhelming majority of internships are paid. So intern early and intern often.
Okay, so what is in it for you? Internships are a great way to apply concepts that you have learned in your classroom into the actual field that you will be interning or potentially working into. And it will also give you a great opportunity as well to learn, because going into an internship, there should be an expectation that you do not know everything and that your employer will be teaching you new skills throughout the internship. Internships are also a great way to build your resume and network. They allow you to interact with potential employers to build a good workplace relationship, and you can also add that to your resume to help find better jobs in the future as well. In addition to this, there is a higher chance of a permanent position with the company that you intern with. You can view your internship as more of an extended interview that both gives the employer a good look at you, as well as you a good look at the employer, to see if you would be a best fit for each other. You may also take internships for credits. You can help fill requirements in some majors, because in some majors it is required to take an internship, and they can be taken in either 3, 6, or 9 credits, with the requirements for each level of credit increasing slightly. They are offered in spring, summer, and fall terms. Another good thing about internships is that you have the opportunity to be paid. Internships can be paid or unpaid, but just because they are paid does not mean it is not an internship, as long as it applies to your field of study.
So one of the most important steps in securing your internship is having a strong resume. So there's an example of the format that we prefer using in the Career Center on the right-hand side of your screen here. And while I could go basically and spend a whole hour going over how the template would apply, what the skills that you want to highlight are, your best bet is really to either attend a separate workshop about resume or to schedule an appointment with our staff. We can help you both on the formatting, what's appropriate to put in, as well as how to articulate the skills that you already have in terms of making it more attractive to employers. Once you have a very strong resume, you will be able to start applying for position. And the next thing that you should also be looking at is building a LinkedIn profile. A LinkedIn profile is basically a digital version of your resume. And so if you have a strong paper resume, you will be able to just copy and paste most of the sections that you have on that resume into your LinkedIn profile. And it will basically be very easy to set up. Why would you want to do a LinkedIn profile? Well, a lot of people think that it is reserved for business majors. While it's true that it's more oriented toward business networking, it is also helpful for all kinds of major. LinkedIn is basically a social media platform for professionals. So it will give you the option of adding people to your network and connections. It also has a job function that we will go over and show you quickly at the end of this section. So this is one way that you can get to activate your network in a digital way, which is important nowadays since we're pretty much all stuck at home or wherever it is that we are. Activating your network is also one of the most important steps that you can do when you're doing either a job or an internship search. Most of the positions that get filled are never actually posted on job boards and they're never made public. So the company fill in those vacant positions. Well, sometimes it is through internal promotion or just filling it internally with people who already work at a company. So, for example, I spent 3 years working at the College of Business. I'm now in the Career Center. That was basically a transfer from one department at the university to the other. So that's how the job was filled. So this happens in a lot of companies. Your next thing with the networking aspect is basically business owners and people who have opportunities, they talk to each other. They are basically saying, you know, I'm looking for an accounting student or I'm looking for an MIS student and I can't seem to be finding one. They would basically discuss this with other business owners. You never know when your former internship supervisor is going to say, oh, really, I had a great accounting student last summer and he was wonderful or she was wonderful. We just didn't have a permanent position to offer them, but I can always get you in touch with them to see if they would be interested. So that's kind of what the networking piece is. A lot of students always tell me that they feel they don't have a lot of opportunities of network because their parents aren't, they don't own their own business or they're not really high up in their organization. It does not matter. Your network is basically every single person you have interacted with up until this point. So that means your parents' friends, your friends' parents, all the people you have worked for, all the people you have worked with. But that also includes all of the professors that you have interacted with. It includes all of the staff, people like me. If you send me a LinkedIn profile request or LinkedIn connection, if you're a Shippensburg University student, I'm going to accept it. And that gives you access to a lot of the network that I already have. All of the Shippensburg University alums, a lot of them are putting their names in the database, and they're willing to help you out to network just because they really miss Ship and they enjoy their experience and they want to be able to help current students. So one of the most important thing that you can do when you are looking for a position is basically tell everybody you know, everybody you don't know, just put it out there, because we can't help you if we don't know that you're looking for a position. So another thing that you can use is use job posting boards. So there's 4 of them that are my favorites, and we'll show you 2 of them later. So the first one is Ship Career Connection, which is basically specific to Shippensburg University. It's our digital on-campus job board. It lists both campus jobs. So if you want to work at the rec center, this is how you would apply. Obviously, that would be when we're back on campus. But it also lists a bunch of opportunities in our local area, as well as a lot in the Philadelphia area. Sometimes we also have nationwide opportunities. The next one that I like to use, as I mentioned, is LinkedIn, has a job posting side. Glassdoor is great because they have jobs, but they also have employee reviews that are anonymous, as well as salary ranges. So if the place is a burning dumpster fire, you can look at the reviews and stay away from that. Also, if you're getting an offer, you can go to Glassdoor, look at what the ballpark number is to see if you're getting a fair share or if they're trying to really get you on the cheap. That helps you during your salary negotiation. Finally, Indeed is a really good one. It has a lot of volume, but it also has sometimes some scams on there. Then there's specific job boards, for example, USAjobs.gov that lists all the federal job postings. There's PA Commonwealth for the state of Pennsylvania. So there's going to be job boards that are going to be specific to your major and the types of industries. Next thing that you want to do is attend fairs and events. We are actually holding our job at internship fair virtually on April the 15th from 10:30 to 2 p.m. You will be able to chat with employers. We currently have over 80 employers that are actively looking to fill position and internships that are registered for the fair. So employers are still looking to hire. They're still looking to do internships for this summer, for the fall. So if you attend this fair, you will have a good chance of getting at least some interviews lined up. Also, we are holding a lot of networking events virtually. Once things go back to normal, the type of networking event that you would be looking at attending would be Chamber of Commerce mixers, alumni reunion, things of that nature. Next step is going to be to keep a log. Especially right now, there is going to be an increased level of competition for open positions. So you really want to be organized and you want to keep track of all the positions that you have applied for. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be a basic Excel spreadsheet. You put in the name of the company that you are applying for, the position you're applying for, as well as the date and a contact information if you have it. This is enough. This lets you keep track. That way, when people call you to schedule an interview, you don't go and say, who are you again? What did I apply for? That's never a good look. It's also very appropriate for you to apply to a bunch of positions at the same time. You don't have to wait to hear back from one company before you apply to the next. And it's also okay if you feel that you're qualified for more than one position at the same company. It's okay to apply for both, or 3 or 4 or 5. It really lets you, when you keep a log, it lets you kind of zone in on which position you are actually being contacted about. And then apply the law of averages. What does that mean? We typically say in normal times that it takes about 10 applications to get one interview, 5 interviews to get one offer. And then the offer might not even be right for you. So if you do quick math, that's a 50-to-1 ratio. Obviously, right now, the economy is kind of in the dumps for this, this quick minute. So you are probably going to need to double or triple those numbers. Again, as I mentioned, a lot more competition for a lot less open positions. If you're consistent and if you keep applying, you will still get those opportunities.
Okay, so while you're looking for internships or even jobs, it is very important that you project a professional image. And what I mean by that, so certain things that you can do is make sure that your social media accounts are privatized and that you have nothing illegal or inappropriate that may deter a potential employer from hiring you. A lot of times employers will look at things like your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter just to get like a good snapshot of how you act outside of the working environment. You could also Google yourself to find out if there is anything out there, like articles or anything about you that project you in a way that is not ideal, and you can go forward with trying to address those as well. You also want to make sure that you have your voicemail set up. You want to make sure your voicemail is set up and your mailbox is not full. This will allow employers to leave messages and as well as know that they have actually contacted you. Your message should be appropriate and personalized, just so that, again, an employer will know that they have actually contacted you and not just a random phone number. It is also very important to have a headshot. Make sure you have a professional headshot, and here is a video kind of highlighting how or what would be a good or bad headshot. And lastly, you want to make sure that you stand out, but in a good way. You always want to try your best to project yourself in a professional manner because, as Alex has previously stated, you never know when you're going to bump into somebody that could be looking for to fill a position, or who you might have met that could potentially recommend you to another position. So it is very important to make sure that you're always doing your best to always, to always make yourself look as if you are projecting professional image.
So we talked briefly earlier about Ship Career Connection, which is, again, our digital online job board. It's very easy to access. Your first step would be to go to ship.edu/career. Once you're there, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there's going to be an expandable section that says Ship Career Connection. You want to click on the student link, and then that basically takes you to the single sign-on page, which if you don't know what that means, if your email is not populated, just use your regular Ship email and password, and we'll get you straight into the page. The first time that you log in, it is going to ask you for very simple question: job functions you're interested in, what you're looking for in an employer, where do you want to work, and the industries that you're interested in. Those questions are optionals. You don't have to answer them, but it helps the system match you to opportunities. So it's helpful, but not required. Next thing is you should actually go to your profile. So if you look on the left-hand side on that picture, it says home, jobs, and then the third selection is my profile. This should be your first stop. And you remember how I said if you have a strong resume, everything else is going to be easy after that? You should use your resume to fill out the sections of your profile. Make sure you answer all the questions, even the ones you think are stupid, because the system will proactively prevent you from applying to position that it thinks you're not qualified for. So for example, I had a student who couldn't figure out why he wasn't able to apply to a position at Deloitte. They told him they were interested. They wanted him to apply for Ship Career Connection. He just didn't even see an apply button. It took us 20 minutes to figure out that he forgot to check that he was a US citizen, which was one of the criteria that Deloitte had set up for this particular position. Once he clicked on that and saved it, he was able to apply. Long story short, got the internship that changed into a job. He's now working at Deloitte and doing really well. So be thorough when you answer those questions. And again, the system doesn't know what you don't tell it. So for me, I don't have anything in there, and I always get a kick out of being told I can't be a French tutor, even though I have spoken French my entire life. Once you have, also on your profile, you can link your LinkedIn profile there, and you can upload that resume. Once you have that done, you can go to the job section, which is that second option on the left, and you basically want to hit search. First time you go into the job posting, it's going to let you use keywords, search by major, add your cities. So you can do that. You can basically put your major, the city that you want to work in, and run the search. You can also save that as a job alert. So basically what that does is every time there's a new posting that fits your criteria that you have set, so keywords, major, and your city, you're going to get a notification. You'll get an email telling you, hey, this position matches what you are looking for. So that's great when you've been searching for position for a little bit. The first time though, excuse me, I always recommend that you just put in the word internship, no S, and you just hit search. And what that's going to do, and it's going to bring up every single internship posting that we have right now. Next thing you want to do is search by date posted, and that is going to sort it in a way that you will always see the most recent at the top. And then you want to power through all of them. We currently have about 150 open positions. By the way, I told you to specifically not put an S at the end of internship. If you put an S, it only brings back 35 results. So you really want to cast your net as wide as possible. So just quickly look at the job listings, and just by looking at that, you should be able to see whether or not you want to save it for later. Save it for later by clicking on the star. It will basically put it to your favorite list. So just power through it. Obviously, don't apply for things that you're not remotely qualified for. So if you're a Spanish major, you probably don't want to apply for a nuclear engineering internship. That would be kind of a stretch. But you are more than welcome to apply to a position that you're about 50% qualified for. Job postings are kind of a wish list. And again, as we mentioned, there's a component of not being fully able to do the jobs from the first day. Otherwise, that's not an internship. If you don't have to learn things on the job, it is just a part-time job that the employer doesn't want to pay benefits for. So don't sell yourself short. Don't self-disqualify yourself. You don't know who else you're applying against. So 50% qualified for, go for it and apply.
As Alex has already stated previously, another great job search resource is LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile should reflect your resume because it's a great job search resource, and it can be used to search for jobs as well as set up alerts for positions that you would be a best fit for. So if you see that red arrow at the top, on the top box, if you click on jobs, it'll open up the job search function, and it will actually allow you to search for all of the job postings that are listed in LinkedIn. Once you get a job search, so you can maybe, like, if you're looking for like a management position, you search for management positions in a certain area. You can set your experience level, and once you have that search all set up, LinkedIn actually allows you to save that search. And if a job is posted that falls within your saved search, you will actually receive a notification, and that will give you the best opportunity to be one of the first people to apply for that position. If you're looking to revise your LinkedIn profile, we are offering a LinkedIn workshop April 30th at 3:30 conducted through Zoom.
Next step would be how to prepare for an interview. So you have a killer resume, you had a great profile on LinkedIn, you applied for a bunch of jobs, and now you scored an interview. So now what? Well, the first thing is you better show up on time. And by that, I mean about 10 minutes before your appointment window. That allows for any kind of paperwork you would have to fill out, showing your ID, getting a visitor's badge, calling the person that you're interviewing with, get them down there in the lobby, so on and so forth. But it's not too early that the person at the front desk has to awkwardly ask you if you want a glass of water every 2 minutes. Also, as we say around here, shit happens. If you are stuck in traffic, if you're going to be late, pick up the phone and call. Let them know what's going on. It's much better to communicate than just showing up late, which shows that you're not very organized and you really don't care. What to bring? Copies of your resume. Yes, they will probably have those, but it's always good to bring 5 copies of your resume in case somebody got pulled into your interview last minute, didn't have time to prepare. It shows that you are prepared. You also want to bring a notepad and a pen so that you can take some notes. You might meet up with the HR department that might give you a bunch of information that you will probably not remember on the fly because you're nervous for the interview. That's all normal. All of that fits nicely into a portfolio. You can get some for around $10 on Amazon. There's some really fancy one at the bookstore. So just get something that ties it all together, looks professional, and you will be able to use this for a long, long time. Research the company. By that, I don't mean just go to their first web page. I mean like really dig down into the company that you are applying for. Why? One of the most standard questions in an interview is, why do you want to work here? And by that, the interviewer is not going to mean what is going to be great for you to work here. It is more from the perspective of the company. Why would we hire you over the other 20 Shippensburg University students that come out with the same degree? What's making you stand apart? And this is really where showing that you've done your research and showing how you would be a good fit for that particular company is going to set you apart. So speaking of standard question, be ready for those. Don't think that you are going to be able to just show up in an interview and answer questions on the fly. I don't care how good you are and how confident you are, it is not going to work. Most of the time, because some of the questions you're going to be asked are not things that we just sit around thinking. Some of the standard question, as I mentioned, why do you want to work here? Another very popular one is, tell us about yourself. And that doesn't mean rehash your whole resume. This is also the time that you're going to tell them why you would be a good fit working there. Another very popular one is, tell us about a time you experienced conflict and how you resolved it. What's your biggest strength? What's your biggest weakness? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Those are all things that you have to get some thought, because I can guarantee you that if you don't think about this beforehand, your answers are not going to be that great. For example, the what's your biggest weakness question, if you tell me something that is just a total humble brag, like I just care too much, or I work too hard, I'm just going to roll my eyes into the back of my head 5 times because I've heard this like 5 million times. It's much more powerful to find something that you are really struggling with and acknowledge it, because it shows a lot of self-awareness, as well as explain some of the steps that you are taking to correct it. That will make you stand apart much more than just an answer that they've heard a million times. Oddball questions are also a thing. I had a student recently that said that during one of his interviews, he was asked, how many golf balls will fill a 747? So we're not really looking for the actual answer there. The interviewer is looking at a couple of things. How do you handle pressure? How do you keep your cool when you get something asked of you like that completely out of left field? They're also kind of looking at your train of thought. So it is very important for you to verbalize. So ask some questions. For example, well, is it only the cargo room? Is it including seats? You know, kind of walk the person through the steps that you're going through in your mind. It's okay to ask a question. It's okay to say, well, a golf ball is about 2 inches, and you know, so on and so forth. Again, verbalizing your train of thought is really what's gonna set you apart. The worst thing you can do when you have an oddball question is just sit there in your chair, not say anything, because you look like you're stunned while you do some mental math and just blurt out a number. That is not gonna help you. Know how to handle poor interviewing skills. So there's a lot of questions that are actually legal to ask you. So for example, your age, your marital status, your sexual orientation, those are all things that are completely off limits. Most interviewers will know that, they're professionals, and they will stay away from asking you those questions. Some people, sometimes you're going to get interviewed by a frontline supervisor that doesn't really know what's allowed or not, and you might be asked those questions. There is a polite way that you can deflect those. Usually that's when you would say something along the lines of, well, I'm sorry, I failed to see how my answering this question would have an impact on my ability to perform adequately for this position. So that helps you being polite about it, telling them that it's not an appropriate question, and not answering. And then the last question that you're usually asked is, do you have any questions for us? Again, one of the worst things you can say is, no, I'm good. This is going to be giving you the opportunity to show that you are interested in the job. So this is where you would ask some questions about, could you describe the company culture to me? What do you like about working here? Also, you can project yourself as already having this position. Questions relating to that are, could you tell me what some of the key performance indicators would be for this position? How would you describe a high performer in this type of positions? And how would I be able to contribute to the team the most? So that kind of shows the confidence that you know you are able to do the job, and you're already seeing yourself in that. And finally, the most powerful question you can ask, and you should probably leave it for the end, is asking the interviewer, is there anything that you see in my background, on my resume, or anything that we have discussed today that makes you question my ability to be a good candidate or to perform appropriately on this position? What that does is it lets them address any kind of red flag that they have or any kind of things they're not sure about. It lets them put it out there for you, and it also gives you a chance to correct those. So that is going to be your chance at redirecting any kind of second thought that they might have. Another big step of preparation is dressing for the job you want. Interviewing is going to be really the time that you need to shine, and you need to put out your best professional outfit. If you don't know what professional outfit is, we have a couple of examples here on this slide. I will say that the vibe is boring funeral. If the darker the better, the more nondescript the better, so on and so forth. I don't care if you're going to apply at a startup where the dress code is ultimately going to be flip-flop shorts and hoodies. You should still show up business professional for your interview. Now, we're not on campus right now, but when we are back, if you don't have an interview outfit, you can stop in at the Career Center in the Raider Ready professional dress closet. I have a room that's full of professional outfits. It is ran by donation, so I don't always have all the sizes, but if I have something that fits you, I will give it to you. It will be yours to keep. You don't have to return it, and we want you to use this for job interviews, classroom presentation, job fairs, networking events. I don't care if you use it for wedding and bar mitzvahs. Just use it. Come and get an outfit. You get at least one outfit per year. And again, we're located in the Cub 108 room.
Yeah, so save the date. We have moved our career fair to April 15th, and it will be conducted virtually. You can sign up through Ship Career Connections. If you need further help preparing for the fair, we are offering workshops to help with resumes as well as preparing for a virtual job fair, because I'm sure this is a new something new to many of you.
And then finally, this is where we're normally at in the Cub. Our regular office hours are 8 to 4:30. We are all still working remotely from 8 to 4:30. You have to make an appointment. You can either email career@ship.edu or call 717-477-1484. All of our programming until the end of the semester has been moved to being virtual. So if you need a resume review, if you need an interview prep, so on and so forth, we can all do that virtually. You can stay updated with all of our events. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We currently have a daily contest on those social media. So if you want to participate, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card to Amazon. And at this time, I can open it up to questions. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, or you can type it in the chat, and I can unmute you. If you don't have any questions, I really appreciate you attending today. We'll give you a few minutes to gather your thought, and if you're all done, you can just leave the meeting. Thank you so much. I don't see any question. I am going to take this opportunity to thank Noah for co-presenting with me and wish everybody a safe and good end of the semester.
Thank you. It was great presenting for everybody today.